Welcome riders, Ryan here, owner of Richardson Motoworks. Today we're going to go over some winter storage tips for your bike. If you're going to be putting your bike away for the winter, or it's going to be sitting for a couple months, just some things that you should do. I know we're looking at a dirt bike here, however, this applies to all street bikes as well. This situation, everything we're going to be talking about is the same, whether it's dirt bike, a Harley, a leader bike, it doesn't matter. First things first, always unhook your battery. It doesn't matter if it's a lithium battery, AGM, whatever, it's always a good idea to unhook it. Even if you have your bike on charge, I understand some people just hook them in, let them charge with the battery in it. There's nothing wrong with that. However, to save your battery, extend its life as long as you can, the best way to do it is unhook it completely, even take it out of your bike, would be my suggestion. Especially if you have lithium batteries. I don't know if you've ever seen lithium catch on fire, go up in flames. It burns hot and it burns quick, and all that lithium needs is just oxygen in the air to light up. So chances are your battery's not going to crack or split or anything like that. But if you have a lithium battery, it's always a good idea to take it out of your bike and store it somewhere else if you're going to be storing your bike for the winter. Store it in your shed out back or something. Keep your bikes in your garage, just because if it does light up, your whole garage is probably going to go down. If your garage is attached to your house is probably going to go down too. Lithium just burns quick when it lights. So take your batteries out, store them somewhere safe, put them on charge. I would also recommend keeping them on charge, trickle chargers. You can buy one for 40 or 50 bucks. It'll save you from buying, a $150 battery. When your battery dies, just put it on a charger, take it out of the bike. That's what I would suggest. Second thing, and most important thing, especially on carbureted motorcycles like this one here, turn your gas off. First things first, turn your gas off. You're going to have it sit. Second, with gas in America, we are the only country that puts ethanol in our gasoline. Make somebody some extra money somewhere, but it is terrible for small engines, especially carburetors. It eats the seals and everything in carburetors. It ruins them. So turn your gas off so there's no gas going to your carburetor. As well, on most carburetors there you have some vent lines coming off the bottom. You should have just one. You might have 2 or 3 of them tied together. One might be an airbox breather, one might be an overflow. But you should have a vent line that comes off the very bottom of your carburetor. If the vent line is not there, there will be a little nipple on the bottom of your carburetor. You can always see it. Sometimes it's sticking off to the side, but it's always on the bottom of your carburetor bowl. That is to drain the gas out of the carburetor. If you do not have a vent line off of that little nipple, just go get you some battery vent line, some fuel hose line, anything that'll fit on there to drain it. And right by that little nipple, there's always a screw. It's on the bowl of your carburetor once again. So with your gas turned off, keep in mind, because if you don't have your gas turned off, this thing will run and run and run until it empties your fuel tank out. So gas off, and you can loosen this little screw that is once again on the bottom of your carburetor bowl. Make sure you have a pan somewhere under whichever vent line it is. Go ahead and loosen it, and it will run all the gas out of your carburetor. It's a carburetor drain bolt is what it is. Now, you shouldn't have a ton. If you have, for example, this is only a single carburetor. If you have an inline 4 or something like that and 4 carburetors, there should be 4 vent lines. Sometimes they tie them all into one, but usually it's 4 vent lines. You got to drain them all. And it shouldn't be a ton that comes out unless you have 4 carburetors, then a little bit more will come out. But this being a small bike, that's all the gas that came out. And this ensures that your carburetor is completely empty of gasoline if you have your fuel shut off. Once again, have your fuel shut off. You can go ahead and close this screw again. And this ensures that you're not going to have any gas sitting in the carburetor, eating through your seals, clogging up your jets. Once again, especially with ethanol and America's gas, it just ruins carburetors. So if you can get all that gas out of there, let it sit like this. I guarantee you, if you put fresh gas in it beginning of spring, whenever you're going to ride, turn your gas on, this thing's going to fire right up, so it doesn't have to burn all that crappy gas that you left sit in there. It's nice new gas because you cleaned out your carburetor. And that's the biggest thing. Another thing is, if you have a two-stroke, this is not a two-stroke, but if you have a two-stroke, you know, dirt bike, whatever, you're going to leave it sit for a long time, always plug your exhaust. Two-stroke motorcycles, they'll collect moisture in there, it'll rust your big expansion chamber. You don't want any of that, so if you have a two-stroke, just plug your exhaust. That's all I can say about that. There's some other little things you can do, but those are the three biggest things. They'll save you some money, make your bike ready to ride next spring. Another thing that I see all the time, and some people have great luck with this, I personally do not like it. You can take my word for it, you can take other people's words. I know people that do it every year and have great success with it. However, seafoam, things like that, fuel stabilizer that you dump in your gas, I personally do not like it. I have seen more problems created with seafoam and stuff like that than I have, you know, benefits or them doing what they should do. A lot of people pour it in their tank and just leave it sit. I've seen it go okay, and I've also seen it where we have to empty your gas tank, we have to empty your fuel lines, have to clean out your injectors, have to rebuild your carburetors. I would never ever put seafoam or anything like that in a carbureted bike. I get it on fuel injected bikes, okay, but even then you're just asking for a headache in my opinion. Once again, some people love it, I personally do not. I've only seen it create problems. Just only thing that should go in your gas tank is gas. If you're lucky enough to live in a city that has like a Sheetz, for example, a gas station, Sheetz sells ethanol-free gasoline. I'm sure there are other gas stations that do as well. It's usually a little bit more expensive. However, you know, for the 4 or 5 gallons that your motorcycle holds, it's only, you know, maybe $5 more. But that ethanol-free gas will work wonders on carbureted motorcycles. It runs a little better. You don't have to worry about it sitting as much. So if you can afford it, you can have access to it, go ahead and put ethanol-free gas in it, especially if you know it's going to be sitting for a while. But once again, drain your carburetor, unhook your battery, take it out of the bike if you can, leave it on a trickle charger, plug your exhaust if you have a two-stroke. Those are the biggest things. Don't put anything in your gas tank, again, other than gas. Especially if you drain your carburetor, you can always drain your gas tank with a, they make little hoses that you can stick down in there, and they suck all the gas out. So then if your carburetor's clear, you can empty your gas tank beginning of spring, put some fresh gas in there, and you will for sure be good to go. If you have any questions about this, you can visit richardsonmotoworks.com. If you don't want to do this, I'm always happy to do it for you. Winter storage, winter prep is a big thing we see once it gets cold out around here in Ohio. So visit us, richardsonmotoworks.com. We'll get you taken care of.